Welcome back to Mulberry Branch Farm. It's February 3rd. We had babies born last night, and I just pulled it and saw like the best thing ever. It's not been a very cold winter, but it has been real slushy and kind of icky. But look guys, look what I saw. Is that not the best thing to see when you cannot wait for spring to get here? We are really excited to see that. And it just kind of makes me want to get out and walk around my flower beds. And you guys can see there's where we do all of our gardening. And we do some over here, which you guys will be down there a lot more here in the next month or so as we start planning and getting some projects rolling. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys. Maybe we'll have to do a video on the countdown to spring and what we're gonna do for our projects. Blackberry, you did good. Oh, Willow, you did real good too, Mama. Look at them, guys. One thing that I wanted to touch on. So after going through last night's births, I did want to make a change to how I actually set up my kidding stalls. Most of the time we give them more than a couple days in their stall, and they waste a lot more hay, but because we're using different hay feeders this time, they're not wasting as much and it's not getting spread. And you guys may have seen it too in the footage, but when those babies hit the sawdust, it was a little bit messy. I wasn't very fond of how it clung to them. I could see that being an issue if maybe they got it clumped around their face and mommy couldn't get it cleaned away. I just feel like it would hold the mucus towards her face. So going forward, we will still do the pine shavings like we've got in all these stalls. But I think one of the things that we're going to add is we're just going to put some straw on there as well. Doesn't hurt to put a layer of straw on the top for insulation, everything like that. So we learned from that yesterday. Usually, like I said, they were in there a little bit longer and they have a little more time to spread the hay around. So, you're a daddy. You're a papa. You're a papa. What do you have to say for yourself? Poseidon, sorry. What do you have to say for yourself, Papa? You're working yourself out of a home. You're working yourself out of a stay here. Oh, so handsome with that hairdo. Oh, man. Welcome back to Mulberry Branch Farm, where our projects literally are getting ready to gear up for the spring. I've been walking around the property a lot today trying to figure out what we want to do, what I want to show you guys and bring you along on. The first thing I'm actually going to do is work in my chicken coop today. So it is almost 60 degrees today, where this hoodie's almost too much. So I'm in my chicken coop, and we do have a lot of chickens that like to roost up here, which that's their natural instinct. They want to go high when they sleep, which is just fine, but they do tend to get over into my feed room and they muck it all up, because you can see everything's kind of all over the place in here, and it's because they're flying up into the rafters and coming down and just making a big mess of everything. So I'm actually just going to put some more netting like I have here on their doors, like this stuff right here, because it's just enough to keep them from flying over the top. Also, I want to keep their compost in their runs, because I am starting to compost a lot more and I don't want any of it to go to waste. So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing today. I've got a lot of work ahead of me, guys, so just hang tight while we go through that. Also, one of the other reasons that I'm trying to do this is as we get into the warmer months, or even because they get closed up a lot when it's cold, it's too yucky outside for them to go out, I do tend to keep them closed in here, and ventilation sometimes isn't the best in chicken coops. Well, they've both got like their own little windows over here that we keep open. Sometimes it's just not enough to circulate. So if I can keep them from roosting up top and then jumping down and running out where the hawks and minks and raccoons and everything else, or neighbors' dogs, can get to them, then that would help me out a whole lot, because then I can just prop these doors open when it's nice and warm and we can get some ventilation in here. So ventilation is a big thing in chicken coops because they do produce a lot of waste, and it seems like it's pretty high in ammonia. So that's not good for them either. Like, we were putting the barn lime down for getting ready for our goat kids. I don't want to do that out here because chickens scratch a lot, so it'll create a lot more dust. but they do create ammonia as well. So I'm going to be in here mucking this out and trying to get some things secured in here. So hopefully I'll be able to film a little bit while I'm doing that, and we'll get back to it, guys. So I went ahead and got some of our supplies ready. So I'm just going to staple this up because chickens aren't big enough really to push against any of this. Doubling our hoof shears as something to cut the netting with. And I've got my handy dandy ladder. And I've also got some 84 by 100 foot deer and bird food net, folded netting. Alright, so we finished that project. You guys can see it's not the prettiest, but I think it's going to work to keep our chickens from going up there at night and then in the morning jumping down here. That way I can go ahead and get my ventilation just right here as the months start to warm up and we start focusing on compost. It's also going to keep them from doing their business out here in my feed room and making a mess, and keeping it on the other side of the coop where they're supposed to be so that I can use it for compost. So I hope that you guys found yourself liking this video. If you did, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe to us. We'd love for you guys to come along on our journeys. We keep doing projects here around our farm, and make sure you ding that notifications bell so that you guys get to stay in touch with us and follow along as we go ahead and build up our homestead and hobby farm here on Mulberry Branch Farms. So guys, until next time, thanks. Bye.